Tonight on a Nation Sports Show, we continue our coverage of our divisional previews for the upcoming 2024 NFL season. Last week, we gave our predictions on the AFC North and the AFC South divisions. Tonight, we wrap up the AFC Conference with our predictions on the AFC East and the AFC West. Also tonight, we talk about the rumors going around in the National Football League on potential trades of San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. Will he be traded away, or will he stay with San Francisco? Also, news came down today that J.J. McCarthy, the first-round selection by the Minnesota Vikings, is done for the rest of the season as McCarthy has torn his meniscus. Now, who will be the Vikings starting quarterback when the season gets underway? It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
It's Tuesday. You know what that means. We are live, everybody, for another edition of our Nation Sports Show right here on YouTube. What is going on? Stepping in at the very last minute, finding out I am actually the host tonight, as our very own Ezra Vicker could not be here tonight. He is not feeling well tonight, and not feeling well great tonight, and I hope he was going to be on tonight because he went to Metallica over the weekend at Soldier Field in Chicago for their epic takeover in Chicago at Soldier Field for the M72 World Tour. And man, he was telling me on Friday it was an awesome night with Mammoth and Pantera opening up. And of course, we can't forget about Metallica. I mean, they're one of the best bands in the world, and they continue to play at a high level. And looking forward to next week when he comes on the show and giving his full recap of the entire weekend. But as they say, the show must go on. And before we talk about what's going on tonight with our divisional previews in the AFC East and the AFC West, we have to plug the social media platforms. Up first on Twitter or X at @ON_Sports Show. Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and where we are live on YouTube at youtube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to share this broadcast with your family and your friends that love the world of sports just as much as we do. And boy, do we have a busy show for you tonight. And hopefully Kevin will be joining us here in a little bit to give his predictions on the AFC East and the AFC West. But before we get to all of that good stuff, my co-host for this evening right here, right now, is my boy, my brother from another mother, Atlanta Braves fan, Washington Commanders football fan, and an all-around good dude, JT, Joey Thornton. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. Yes, we are back for week 2 of our 4-week NFL conference preview. Looking forward to really digging down deep as far as who it is going to win the AFC East and AFC West. And I really hate to do this, seeing as how I'm a fan of this team, but unlike my Atlanta Braves, I'm actually alive and breathing, whereas the Braves are dead in the water. But of course, we'll get into that in just a little bit. But anyways, let's go.
Let's do this. And again, like I said, unfortunately, due to not feeling well, Ezra's not here with us tonight. He is under the weather tonight. Hopefully, he'll be back on with us next week. And looking forward to hearing about his experience down there in Chicago for the Metallica World Tour stop in Soldier Field. And he had tickets for this show since 2022 when they went on sale in December. I believe it was the 2nd. Yes, December 2nd. And just unbelievable, how this band is performing at a high level since this tour started, playing two completely different set lists a night, and just unbelievable stuff. And Mammoth WVH and Pantera are opening up on the first night, and then on the second night it is Ice Nine Kills and Five Finger Death Punch. And of course, closing out is the Mighty Metallica. Like I said, playing 2 completely different sets. And for those that were there in Chicago, hope you guys had a great time. What I heard of the shows, they were phenomenal as always. Caught both shows thanks to social media and the power of social media. That's a good thing at times, especially when you can't be there. People posting stuff on the internet. It's great. But Metallica sounded great as always. If they are coming near a city near you, go check it out. They're going to be in Minnesota this week. Going to be in Edmonton next week, and then they go to Seattle. And then they wrap up the tour in Mexico with 4 shows in 2 weekends. So, I just gave Metallica's plug, but who cares? Anyways, I love that band. And I love sports, man. And we are here. That's the main business why we're here, folks, is to talk about the world of sports. But, I have to sprinkle in it every now and then about music and stuff. But, since Ezra couldn't be on tonight. But, man, last week we started our NFL division previews for the upcoming 24 season. As we always start out with the AFC conference, as we started out with the AFC North and the AFC South, we ran down all the teams in each division, in each, conference they're in, or each division, I should say, and in the conference, and gave our highs, our lows, our expectations of all the clubs, and we're going to continue as we always do here in the month of August and all that good stuff. And without a doubt, let's get right to it. And up first, we go from the East to the West. And up first, it is the AFC East. And of course, you got the New England Patriots. You got the New England Patriots. You got the New York Jets. You got the Miami Dolphins, and you got the Buffalo Bills. And the New England Patriots. Joey, you know as well as I know, this team did not look like the same team last year. And as we all know, all things come to an end. All good things come to an end. And Bill Belichick's, final year in New England was not a good year. And Mac Jones last year suffered as what we call in the music industry and in the sports industry, or the sports world, the sophomore slump. And that's what happened to Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. I almost said Mike Jones. He's in Houston, Texas. He's a rapper. But no, Mike Jones is not at my dough. Back then, I didn't know him either. But anyways, Mac Jones, yes, last year he struggled mightily and pathetically, and he threw a lot of ugly interceptions, and he just did not have a consistent performance last year.
Well, before you go on there, Steven, I do have one quick question. How did Mac Jones have a sophomore slump when he technically also had a freshman slump? Or rookie slump?
Well, he was a lot better. Let's be honest. He was better in his first year than his second year.
He was average his first year, but he flat out sucked last year.
Well, he was better than the average Carolina Panthers quarterback, but that's beside the point.
Come on, man. Why are you going to talk smack about your favorite team?
Hey, first of all, they ain't my team. Second of all, they equivocally, unapologetically, absolutely, 110%, absolutely suck.
Well, then in that case, you better burn all that Carolina Panthers merchandise you have in your room.
I mean, come on. I had that Scam Newton jersey when that con artist was actually good. You know what? Maybe I'll take that same Scam Newton jersey that I got off the internet and take it to the Panthers headquarters and say, you know what, David Tepper, here's your stupid jersey.
Damn.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm just saying.
They're garbage.
Yeah, they are.
Garbage. But yeah, the Patriots last year, not a good year.
Well, I will say that before we go on there, Steven, this is actually going to be a pretty interesting year for the Patriots because, believe it or not, this is going to be the first year since 1999 that the Patriots will neither have a Tom Brady or a Bill Belichick in their organization. The first year since 1999. Can you believe it? 25 years.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm just reading through Ezra's picks, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But it's absolutely remarkable, how Bill Belichick has been coaching in the NFL all his life, whether he be a head coach, a defensive coordinator, a linebackers coach, special teams guy. I mean, just the dude did it all, and he coached everybody the same and treated everybody the same. He didn't care if you were Tom Brady or, Drew Bledsoe when he was there on the defensive side of things, and obviously when he coached Bledsoe during his couple of years when he first started when Bledsoe was there, when he was in New England during 2000 and 2001 up until he got injured. And we all know what happened with that. But it just goes to show you that you can have a great Hall of Fame coach and the team can struggle. And it all comes down to the quarterback. It all comes down to the offensive line. It all comes down to the skill positions, the defensive, schemes and all that type of stuff. And Bill just didn't have it last year. I mean, this was the first year in quite some time, this was the first year even after Brady left, the started rearing its ugly head with this team, and not performing at a high level. And Matt Jones last year, as we talked about last year throughout the show, we immediately, criticized him openly, because he deserved it. When you're going out there and you're tossing ugly interceptions that kill drives in the red zone and critical drives that are keeping you in the game thanks to your defense. There were times where the defense was playing good and they were still, hovering above 500. And Matt Jones was just struggling, to win games. And a lot of the times he was the reason why he was costing his teams potential victories. And Patriot fans last year, and Boston fans, as we all know, Joey, they're very boisterous. No matter if it's the Celtics, if it's the Bruins, if it's the Red Sox, if it's the Patriots, if you're sucking, they're going to let you know that you're hot garbage.
Yeah, but for at least for Matt Jones' sake, at least now he has a bright side. And that's the fact that instead of having to bundle up and play badly, he'll actually be able to play badly but be at the beach, since he's going to be a backup in Jacksonville to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he'll be on some beach somewhere. But backing up Trevor Lawrence, the money man in Jacksonville is people know he got paid a big fat contract with a PH, not an F, for those keeping score. And Matt Jones, I mean, we'll see how he does because, maybe he'll learn, from, his mistakes by backing up Trevor Lawrence. And if you're Trevor Lawrence, you got to back it up, with that money that he got paid, and we'll see what happens.
For sure.
But moving on to the other part of the AFC East, and that is the Miami Dolphins. And Tua Tagovailoa last year, coming off 2 years ago, where he did not play predominantly the entire year. He was hurt a lot of the times, and he started out great a couple years ago, and then the Dolphins were inconsistent. And then last year, the opposite happened. They started out hot, and then they became inconsistent where they could not beat an over 500 team pretty much to save their lives. And the Dolphins last year were one of the hot teams in the AFC conference. And they were, hovering around that number 2 seed, number 3 seed for the majority of the year. And then they had a slump, a bump in the road last year. And they lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Bills twice. They lost to the Titans on Monday Night Football in that ugly meltdown of a game where they blew the lead, a double-digit lead.
I mean, I got to watch this.
And all of that, and two on the offense, they were good the majority of the year, highlighted by Tyreek Hill and Waddle at wide receiver, that dynamic duo at wide receiver.
Yeah,
and they played great the majority of the year. And the defense, let's be honest, the defense was up and down all year long, giving up so many big plays, when it mattered the most. And Tua last year at times struggled throwing interceptions, and the offensive line at times struggled protecting him. As we all know, Joey, we talked about on this show multiple times, if you don't have an offensive line protecting your quarterback's going to be eating the ball and laying in the grass. And Tua last year, he was up and down. He had some parts where he was good, had some parts where he was really bad. But overall, Tua was pretty good last year. Dolphins as a whole, did not get far in the playoffs. When they lost to Buffalo on the last game of the season, Buffalo clinched the number 2 seed. Miami went to the number 7 seed. And they had to face the Kansas City Chiefs in the bitter cold. And they struggle mightily in below temperatures. And it was crazy cold. I mean, Tua was struggling. The receivers were struggling to hold on to the ball and just were not playing great throughout the game. And that's why we picked against the Dolphins to lose that game against Kansas City, because we knew that the weather was going to play a huge element in how they were going to play in that game. Because by Miami giving up a lot of those games last year when they were on top of the AFC East division, by giving up those games, they were giving away at least a home field game as a number 2 or number 3 seed. But by losing a lot of those games down the stretch against Philadelphia, against the Bills, against the Eagles, against the Titans, I'm forgetting a couple of teams on the top of my head. Oh, against Kansas City as well. They lost to the Chiefs as well in the regular year as well. And the Dolphins, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you dealt the hand that you're dealt with, and they had flashes last year where they were great. And in the offseason, Tua got paid a big fat contract. And I have mixed emotions about Tua's contract. I mean, on one hand, I'm happy that he got it, because after the year that he had a couple of years ago where he was badly injured against Cincinnati, I am glad that he did get paid. And in that sense. But at the same time, I also understand what our very own Kevin has said in text messages with me and on this show and in person as well, that there are times where you need to show me that you're worthy of that contract. And I agree with that, because as we all know, Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl rings already in his young career. And as far as I'm concerned with these first 2 teams, I have the Patriots finishing dead last in the AFC East. I have them going 6-11. And the Miami Dolphins, I mean, the schedule, it looks brutal at times during this year. I mean, you're going to win some games, you're going to lose some games. But as long as Tua and the offense can stay healthy, I think they can make a playoff run. It just depends on how the offense does and how the defense, does. Can they get constant defensive stops at times there in multiple games? Because if you do not make defensive plays on the ball, you're going to lose the game, obviously, more than likely. So with that being said, I had the Patriots, like I said, going 6-11, and I had the Dolphins going 11-6. Moving on to the Buffalo Bills. And last year, the Buffalo Bills, during last year's season, were heavily favored to make it to the Super Bowl. We're heavily favored to make it the conference championship Sunday. And throughout the year last year, Buffalo was struggling bad to even make plays, to get wins when it mattered the most. And Josh Allen last year, at times during a part of the season last year, was throwing ugly interceptions, being careless with the ball, not throwing the ball in the right spots. The offensive line was atrocious. The defense was atrocious. The receivers were dropping passes. And I remember last year against the Eagles, it was a ugly, ugly, ugly loss for Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen throwing his helmet down, he was struggling. He was fussing at the receivers, fussing at the linemen, Dude, you got to be responsible for your own mistakes. And then out of nowhere, like a bat of hell, Buffalo made this incredible run last year and went on a hot streak. And, just they got hot at the right time. And everybody in the media was going, oh, Buffalo's going to be the team to beat. Buffalo's going to make, it's going to finally do it. They're going to get over the hump and beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. And Buffalo, got to give them credit last year. They rattled off, what was it, like 6 or 7 wins in a row, including 2 consecutive victories against the Dolphins, including the last game on Sunday Night Football, like I said, for the AFC East division crown. And Josh Allen at times last year, during that hot streak, he was making plays not with his arm, but with his legs, and showing why when he makes the right plays, he is a dangerous dual threat in the National Football League. And Josh Allen last year, during that winning streak, was really good. The receivers were finally making plays, and especially they were running the ball very well. And if I'm Buffalo, you need to get on the right track. You have to get on the right track this year. You cannot have a stretch this year where you're inconsistent and you're not playing great. And then when Buffalo got to the playoffs, yeah, they won in the wild card round. But then they met their match in the Kansas City Chiefs once again in Buffalo. And everybody was thinking, oh, if the game's in Buffalo, the Bills are going to win. They had them in the elements. It was snowing like hell, and it was a shootout. It was close. And Stephon Diggs last year in that playoff game against the Chiefs dropped the ball, and it was a critical drop. The Bills were driving; they were trailing in the game. I believe it was 24. I want to say it was 27-24 was the score at the time, if my memory is correct. That's back in January. I would have to look at the stats and look at the play-by-play sheet. But anyways, I mean, there was that was a part of the game that was critical for the Bills, and Diggs dropping the ball wide open on a deep route. And the defense last year did not make plays. When they were having this hot streak last year, Buffalo was making plays on the defensive side of the ball and winning in critical junctures. They were having close games, playing great, and all of that. But then in that playoff game, they met their match, and it was the Chiefs. And as we all know, there are 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and the Chiefs always own the Bills when it matters the most. And sorry, Bills fans, but it's the truth. And until you can make the plays when it matters the most, because as we all know, a couple years ago against the Chiefs, the Bills on the road in Kansas City, they were leading the AFC divisional round, and were third game against the Chiefs in a shootout of a game. And the Bills gave up 2 big plays, 40-plus yards in 13 seconds, and the Chiefs tied the game. People were thinking, oh, the Bills get home field advantage. They're going to win. Nope, they didn't. And missing critical kicks. Tyler Bass was automatic last year, for the most part. And then when it matters the most, it was making all those kicks throughout the regular year. And, he's on a hot streak. He can't miss a kick. This is automatic for him. Nope. As Scott Norwood, knows very well, wide right. And the Bills last year, as we all know, suffered a crushing defeat on their home turf. And they lost a lot of critical pieces in the offseason, including Stephon Diggs going to the Houston Texans. And, if I'm the Bills, I'm desperate. I have to make a run this year because even though and also I can't forget about this, but Gabriel Davis this past year in the offseason, he walked. He went to Jacksonville. And it is absolutely unbelievable how Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs were two critical pieces of this Bills team the last couple of years. And a lot of media people, including ourselves, here on the show for the last couple of years, we were thinking that Buffalo was going to make a push with all those weapons that they had at wide receiver, at tight end, and at running back, and obviously Josh Allen at quarterback. But Buffalo they didn't make all the right plays when it mattered the most, last year and the last couple of years. And then in the offseason this year, they basically, blew it up. And this Buffalo team this year going into the 2024-25 season, it's going to be a different team. And it's going to be interesting to see how, Buffalo is going to do this year without a lot of these weapons that Josh Allen, has had the last couple of years. Now we truly get to see how Josh Allen is going to be at quarterback. Can he lead a team like Patrick Mahomes did last year with a bunch of no-name wide receivers, make critical throws, don't turn the football over, take what the defense gets you, and move the ball down the field. Don't turn the ball over. Don't try to go for that home run ball like Josh Allen loves to do, as we all know he does. And again, if you're Buffalo and if you're Bills Mafia, I feel for you. You haven't won a Super Bowl in your team's existence. You've been there. You've been close. But you've been so close, but no matter how far you get, in the playoffs, eventually you get snake bitten by the football gods. And they did, the last couple of years, and they had great teams. And honestly, I think they're going to finish. I'm torn with this team because on one hand, I'm thinking 11-6. And on the other hand, I'm thinking 10-7. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go 11-6 with Buffalo. It's really tough. I mean, Buffalo this year, they're a team, that they have potential throughout the last couple of years, but this year, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this team because this team, this could go so many ways. And moving on to the final team as far as my predictions on the AFC East, and that is the New York Jets, Jets. And as we all know, Aaron Rodgers last year played just 4 snaps. And before I continue, what's going on, Randy? How you doing, sir? And Randy, I just read your comment, sir. No, sir, I am not a Panthers fan. Sorry, not sorry. Even though I'm blind as a bat, I am not a Panthers fan. And I figured you would say that. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Out with the trash. Belichick and QB12. Yeah, your favorite quarterback there, Randall? Yes, Tom Brady. But yes, moving on to the Jets, and the Jets last year, they struggled mightily after that game. I mean, Aaron Rodgers getting knocked out in the first game last year. It was not pretty. It was against the Bills on Monday Night Football. And after Rodgers went down with the injury to his meniscus, or not his meniscus, his why am I blinking? Not his meniscus. His Achilles. It just hit me. His Achilles. Rodgers going out with the Achilles injury last year. Just that was the downward spiral, for the Jets. And it was crazy because before that game, Rodgers came out on the field, American flag, Monday Night Football, national media, watch the worldwide audience in the NFL, watching the Bills, watching the Jets on worldwide television, 4 plays in, boom, tears his Achilles. And Rodgers went down with the injury, out for the rest of the year. And then comes Zach Wilson. And last year, Zach Wilson was absolutely horrible. Horrible was Zach Wilson. He could not hit the broad side of a barn. He could not throw the ball at all. He was missing receivers wide open on quick outs, quick ins, curl routes, slants. And you couldn't trust him to throw a deep ball. I mean, oh, good Lord. I mean, Zach Wilson was so bad last year. And he was so bad. And poor Jets fans, that were season ticket holders last year, they had to suffer during these games watching him struggle at home. I mean, it was not good. Not good. Not good at all. And, now as far as this season goes, compared to last year, as we all know, the Jets absolutely bombed last year. And I really think that all the jokes aside with Rodgers, if Rodgers is healthy, he is one of the damn best quarterbacks to put on a pair of cleats and throw a football in the National Football League in sports. And Aaron Rodgers, I think he is going to have a bounce back year this year. And oh my God. Absolutely tremendous with the name on the screen.
What's up?
CD extension.
Yeah, I'm just like CD Lamb. I'm about to be late for this season, and hell, if I don't see no damn extension, I'm going to be late for the season. So,
and what's so funny is, welcome back, Joey. Welcome back. But ladies and gentlemen, better late than never. My brother from another mother. He can actually CD ball when it gets thrown his way. K-Rod, Kevin, Rory. What's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? I hop on in here a little late tonight. Probably be on about 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so, just to talk about this wild divisions and stuff.
Well, Kev, I've already given my predictions on the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Patriots, and I've been talking about the Jets. And I said it, as long as Rodgers stays healthy. Now I'm gonna circle back after we'll go for the Jets with you guys, and then we'll circle back to the other teams. But as far as the Jets are concerned, as long as Rodgers stays healthy, I think they will be okay. That is, if he can stay healthy. But if he goes down with another injury, the Jets, as we all know, are going to finish dead last in the AFC East. Now, with that being said, 4 snaps last year, 4 days in darkness last year for Aaron Rodgers. Do we think, and I'll start with you first, Kevin, does Aaron Rodgers have a better season with the Jets and get this team and franchise hope?
Well, I will say this. It's got to be a better season. It's got to be uphill from here because, 4 snaps, damn, if he plays 1 quarter of football, hell, he's already gave the Jets a better season. But I will say that I don't necessarily have faith in them as a whole, even with Aaron Rodgers, because let's not make no mistake about it. Aaron Rodgers was piss poor, god awful the last season he was in Green Bay 2 years ago. Let's not forget about that. Yep. He literally choked, something we don't say a lot in the regular season, choked against Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions from 2 years ago. Chance to make the playoffs, choked, lost, got outplayed by Jared freaking Goff. I think, like Tom Brady's last season, I think this is the mountain that he's slowly declining on. I don't think we're going to see elite quarterback play. I do not believe that, but it just so happens the Jets are built better than the Packers, though. The Jets got a defense. They got a secondary. They got a great front seven. They got Breece Hall. They got Garrett Wilson. All Aaron Rodgers has to do is play solid. He don't turn the ball over. Play solid. Do I think they're Super Bowl contenders? Absolutely not. I make no mistake about it. I'm sorry. In a conference with the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, I just don't see it. I do not see it as the Jets being top tier, one of the premier teams. Rosters, yes, but coach teams, no. I don't think they stand a chance against some of the elite. But in the division, possibly. I think they can possibly compete for that division because the division ain't as good as it was last season. Let's not make no mistake about it. I mean, Buffalo has lost a lot, and I mean a lot. So literally almost their entire defense, their entire receiver room, and I don't know. I mean, Buffalo's kind of took 2 steps back. Miami's still going to be what Miami is. I mean, we just don't know when they're going to come crashing down. But do I think they have a shot at the division? Yes, I think they legit have a shot to at least compete in the division.
Now, with that being said, Kevin, where do you think the Jets stand as far as record-wise?
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Here's the way I'm going to roll in my AFC East predictions. I think Miami's going to win that division. I think that Tyreek Hill is freaking unguardable at times. I mean, his speed is insane, and there's just too many questions about Buffalo. So I got Miami winning, but I don't think they win more than 12 games. I think Miami caps out at, I say maybe 11-6. I think that's going to be about where they medium average out at. I think Buffalo will come in second. And I think even though Buffalo takes a step back, let's not kid ourselves here. They still have Josh Allen, who is a premier playmaker with the ball in his hands. He's still going to make plays. He's still going to find ways to get the ball out. They do got a good offensive coordinator now, getting the running back involved and James Cook involved. So I think the question is, how is Keon Coleman, their first-round draft pick, or second-round pick early in the second round, how is he going to perform? Because if he breaks out and he's a star and Josh Allen has that premier wide receiver, I think it's going to be a hell of a I think they could have a hell of a season. So with that being said, I'm going to say the Bills go one game off. I think they go 10-7. And I think they're in it to the end. Last game of the season when it matters most against Miami, that's going to be just like any other year. That's going to be for the division. I think the Jets, this is why I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Even though I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers right now because of his last year in Green Bay, I'm not going to discredit a guy that's won that many MVPs, though. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt, and Aaron Rodgers has a couple good games and couple of just don't turn the ball over games, and the Jets defense takes over. I think the Jets go 9-8, but I do think they are fighting for their lives for that 7th spot. But because of what we talked about last week with the AFC North, I believe the Jets miss out on the playoffs. So I got the Jets at 9-8, and oh dear God, everybody, let's bow our heads, take a moment of silence for Drake May and the New England Patriots, because whatever your religion is, just pray to the good man above that Drake May doesn't get his entire career washed by being in that shit show organization. An organization, by the way, who offered Brandon Ayuk $33 million, top-notch money, overpaid for Ayuk to say, nah, I don't want it. I don't want to go there. I don't want it. Y'all suck. I don't know. Y'all ain't got a quarterback problem. You got a running back problem. You got a team problem, a defensive problem, a GM problem, I'll pass. So, with that being said, New England is dysfunction right now. We'll see if first-time head coach Gerard Mayo can get them in it. But I think first-time head coach, young quarterback, no wide receivers. Their number 1 wide receiver would be a number 4 wide receiver on any other contending team in the NFL. So, I think Drake May doesn't do nothing. And this Patriots team, I'm going to say, They really right the ship. They go 3-14 this year. The only reason I say 3-14 because even a blind squirrel is gonna find a nut once in a while, and they might fuck around and do what the former Bill Belichick thing to do was, and somehow squeak out a win against the New York Jets, because it never seems to fail that they win against the Jets. So, you know what? That's where I'm rocking with 3-13, 3-14 for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I had them finishing if they play their cards right and have some decent games. Like I think they're finishing dead last. I said 6-11, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do go 3-14. But with that being said, so you got the Dolphins winning the AFC East.
Yes, with 11 wins.
11. I got same record as me, 11-6. Joey,
I just don't trust them to win 13, 14 games. I do not
that's
trust
why
them.
I'm precautious with them. That's why with Buffalo, I'm iffy. I'm like, is it 11-6? Is it 10-7? I had them over 500. I just don't know which Buffalo team it's going to be.
Yes, because the big factor is if Keon Coleman can develop, the Buffalo can max out at like 11 wins. Like he could be another Stephon Diggs and step right into that role. But if he doesn't max out in his first year, we're going to see Josh Allen running the ball a whole lot more. And who knows if we're going to get the Josh Allen to throw the ball like he's Josh Allen or the Josh Allen to throw the ball like 2022 Dak Prescott, lead the league in interceptions. We don't know. We don't know what we're going to get from Josh Allen.
So you got Miami at the top, Buffalo second, Jets number 3, Patriots number 4. Joey, what do you have? What are your thoughts on the AFC East?
Well, my thoughts on the AFC East are pretty simple. I mean, this is definitely going to be a strong fight. I do agree with Kevin and the fact that it's definitely going to come down to Buffalo and Miami, because those are literally the two best teams in that AFC East. So I can see it being a dogfight coming all the way down to the final few weeks of the regular season. I am going to give. Actually, you know what? I'm agreeing with Kevin. I'm giving the edge to Miami.
Same as me.
Because Miami has, they have the playmakers that Buffalo doesn't have. They have the O-line, surprisingly, that Buffalo doesn't have. They have the defense that can match wits with Buffalo if they need to. And Tua Tagovailoa, yes, he did get that huge contract here in the offseason, but now he's got to go out and play like he's earned it. Because time after time after time, we have seen quarterbacks. Notice I said quarterbacks, because it's mostly quarterbacks that get these big name contracts, because we had quite a few this past offseason, but it's the quarterbacks that always gets paid this huge sum of money, and then they go out and don't play like they're worth 2 cents of it. I gotta
say something real quick though. Tua, though, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. It's not hard to play quarterback for the Dolphins. Just find a way to hand the ball to Tyreek Hill and let him just get some space. And by God, he's gone. So it ain't like Tua's got to push the ball down the field too much. So he just got to make the right reads. That's about it.
You definitely have a point there. And whenever Tua doesn't feel like throwing the ball, he does have a beastie running back named Raheem Mostert that was able to really take off last year. Getting, I think it was like 20 or 21 something rushing touchdowns. That is pretty impressive for a running back. Pretty impressive.
Don't forget the young rising star in Devon Achane too.
Yeah, Devon Achane too. Yep.
Basically, the Miami weapons and receiver and running back room could possibly go to the Olympics and complete in the 100-meter dash, because it's a track team that Miami has assembled. Every guy on that roster every guy in the receiving and running back room on that roster runs at least a 4.3.
That's true. You got Mostert, you got Achane, and plus you got the guy who was voted number 1 in the NFL's top 100, and quite honestly, the fastest wide receiver in the game, in Tyreek Hill. Not to mention a guy who's not far. Not to mention a guy who doesn't fall far behind in the speed train also, that of course being Jalen Waddle. Miami has all these playmakers that can make plays on both sides of the ball, and that defense is really going to be something to watch out for this year. So, am I going to be surprised if Buffalo does find a way to win the AFC East? No, I'm not, because they also have that talent. But at the same time, I'm really leaning on Miami to win this. Like I said, it's going to come down to an absolute dogfight. I would say for the Dolphins, I'm actually going to have them go 12-5 this year. At the worst, I would say 10-7, but they're probably going to finish either 12-5 or 11-6. I mean, it's going to be one of those two for sure. Buffalo, I can see them going one game below. Whatever the Miami Dolphins finish is how Buffalo's going to finish. If the Dolphins go 12-5, Bills are going to go 11-6. If the Dolphins go 11-6, the Bills are going to go 10-7. I mean, they're going to finish one game behind. Yeah, and as far as the bottom two teams, I mean, yes, the Jets are finally getting Aaron Rodgers back, but at the same time, I'm still not believing in the hype because, Rodgers is not getting any younger, and he is going to be seen. And given this latest injury that he had last year with his torn Achilles, I mean, he's now going to be considered. He's not going to be considered an injury risk. So it will not surprise me to see the Jets kind of step back a little bit. They are going to finish better than the Patriots because, I mean, come on. The Patriots, I would consider this a rebuilding year for them because they got a new head coach in Gerard Mayo. You got I would say a rookie, like a rookie in Drake May as quarterback, who's really going to have to feel some drastic steps if he even wants to even be in the shadows of Tom Brady. Because, I mean, if anybody wants to be in the shadows of Tom Brady, then they have a lot of work to do. And this is going to be Drake May's time to say, hey, I got drafted number 3 for a reason. I need to go out and play the best football that I know I can play. And granted, he is going to have a little bit of competition. That being, of course, from Jacoby Brissett, who is known as a journeyman backup. And not to mention the quarterback that the Patriots actually were able to draft in the 6th round from Tennessee, quarterback Joe Milton, who actually had a pretty decent first preseason game. I mean, you can't really count him out. So I do think the position is going to go to Drake May. But if I'm Jacoby Brissett and if I'm Joe Milton, I would still try to impress the coaches at all possible because you never know when your number could be called. And like I said here to kick off the show tonight, this is going to be a very interesting year for the Patriots because whenever they take the field in week 1, it is going to be the first time since 1999 that the New England Patriots organization does not have a Tom Brady or a Bill Belichick in their organization. I mean, so this is really going to be a very interesting year for New England. And like I said, this is going to be a rebuilding year for New England. I do think that they're moving in the right steps. However, it is going to take, give or take, I say anywhere between 2 to 4 years. It's going to take about that long for them to start rebuilding. And do I see them becoming a threat in the AFC East again? Maybe down the line, as long as they play their cards right. But for now, I would say the Patriots, I'll say 4-13 for them.
Okay.
Because like I said, this is a rebuilding year. And for the Jets, like I said, I'm not believing the hype in regards to Aaron Rodgers because he is one more bad injury away from calling it a career. And if he suffers another injury early on or at any point in this upcoming season, if it's a severe one, then he might as well go ahead and hang up the cleats because his time as quarterback is going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Jets, I'm gonna say 7-10.
Ooh.
I think that is pretty fair for the Jets. At the worst for the Jets, I would say either 6-11 or maybe even 5-12. But at the best for the Jets, I would say 7-10 because I feel that would be pretty average. So
Well, I'll piggyback off what you said about Aaron Rodgers. This is what I'm also worried about. Aaron Rodgers does his best when he's what? He's off script making plays. Hold on. When he's off script making plays, but he's a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury. That don't spell good for someone trying to scramble around in the pocket. So I got concerns about Aaron Rodgers.
So with that being said, moving on to the AFC West side of things, and as we all know, the Kansas City Chiefs, the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions, going for a three-peat for the first time in NFL history. And then the rest of the division is very interesting. It's a very wacky division in the AFC West. And I'll start with you, Kevin, on this one as well. What are your thoughts on the AFC West?
Okay, Kevin actually had to step away from it. So I'll go ahead and take the reins to kick off the AFC West on this one.
All right.
So obviously this is still Kansas City's division.
Absolutely.
This is obviously still Kansas City's division. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, and as long as they have Travis Kelce at tight end, who can catch as well as block, and as long as he's still dating Taylor Swift, which is a foregone conclusion. And as long as the Chiefs have Andy Reid as their head coach, who has really done a lot for the game of football as of late, this is still Kansas City's division. Now, do I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive? I believe so, because Patrick Mahomes has been with this organization ever since he got drafted, of course, back in 2017. And yes, he has 3 Super Bowl rings. He's definitely going to be going for a 4th this year. And if the Chiefs somehow wind up going to win another Super Bowl this year, they'll be the first back-to-back-to-back-to-back champions. But I'm going to go on the record here and say that I think that some of these defenses are starting to figure Patrick Mahomes out.
Interesting.
The reason I say that is because Mahomes, believe it or not, his stats took a little bit of a hit last year because he didn't have as many touchdowns. He was turning the ball over, still not a lot though, but he was still turning the ball over on some occasions. And the one question that I now have this year is, other than Travis Kelce, who's going to step up and be that number one target? Because granted, Rashee Rice, he got into a lot of trouble this offseason.
Yes, he did in Dallas.
I mean, do I think he's going to get suspended? No, because if he would have gotten suspended, then it obviously would have happened by now. But the Chiefs, in case you guys didn't see the first preseason game, the Chiefs I would say the Chiefs have a 1A and a 1B. 1A is going to be Rashee Rice, and 1B is, of course, the receiver that they were able to get in the offseason. That, of course, is Hollywood Brown. But Hollywood Brown suffered an injury in the Chiefs preseason game, which was a loss to Jacksonville back over the weekend. So he's now going to miss a little bit of time. How much time he's going to miss, I don't really know. It's
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks? Gotcha.
4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so he's going to miss at least the first month of the season, maybe even month and a half because of this injury. So that means that Rashee Rice is either going to have to step up, or that means that the Chiefs receiver that they were able to draft back in April from Texas, Xavier Worthy, is going to have to step up. Now, Xavier Worthy
Good point.
definitely has the speed. He definitely has the speed. But Xavier Worthy last year when he was with Texas, he showed some holes that needs to be filled, and maybe and hopefully he has worked on those holes here in OTAs and training camps and practices and all these other sort of things that these players go through, and hopefully he'll come out in week 1 looking like the receiver that he's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I feel like these defenses are starting to figure Patrick Mahomes out, because over the years, his stats, I feel, have taken a little bit of a dip as of late. Do I think he's still going to have a strong season? Absolutely. He's Patrick Mahomes. He gets things done. But I still think that these defenses are going to start... I feel like these defenses are still going to start doing or continue to do more research on how competent of a player Patrick Mahomes is. But like I said, this is still Kansas City's division, hands down. As far as the other teams go, though, let's see. We have the Raiders, we have the Chargers, and we have the Broncos. Now, I feel like the team that's going to be in second place is a team that has been a teeny tiny little thorn in Kansas City's side, and that, of course, is the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers, yes, they are going to be without some key pieces coming into this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for starters, they no longer have Keenan Allen, who's now in Chicago, and they let Mike Williams go. So that's two big areas right there that the Chargers do not have. And also, they let one of their best running backs that they've had since the LT days, which was Austin Eckler, just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the Chargers, they really have, they're really going to go into the field with some missing pieces. And do I think it's going to affect them? Maybe. But that just now means that Justin Herbert's really going to have to step up his passing game, and he's going to have to find some receivers and running backs to hand the ball off to, because, yes, Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, one of the best in the AFC, but he's not going to be able to do it by himself.
No.
And he's really going to have to step it up and find some receivers that can really help him and make his game better for the better of the Chargers organization.
And that offensive line has to block better, too.
Yes, that offensive line definitely has to block better. Now, they are getting a new head coach, that, of course, being Jim Harbaugh, who won the national championship this past year when he was the head coach at Michigan. And I think Jim Harbaugh, he has that championship-driven mentality, but it's not going to come this year. Do I still think they're going to be competitive? Yeah, they'll find a way to be competitive. They always typically do. But coming in not far behind the Chargers is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders can actually finish in second place this year. It would not surprise me.
We know who's finishing last.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if the Raiders can actually finish second place this year. But I am going to pick the Raiders to finish third, because they still lack some key players that they need in order to really make a splash in the AFC West. Yes, they got Carr at quarter, or no, gosh, I forgot who their quarterback was, but give me just
Alex O'Connell.
Ha, that's right. Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell, excuse
Yeah,
me.
Yep, Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden
Yeah.
O'Connell. So yeah, I mean they got him at quarterback. They still got Devontae Adams at receiver, and that defense is still going to be strong with Max Crosby back there. But the Raiders, they still need a little bit, or they still need to make some adjustments if they really want to be competitive in the AFC West. And yes, that means the team that's going to finish in last place in my book. I'm sorry, Sean Payton, but
I'm not.
it's
I'm
gonna
not.
be the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are gonna finish dead last. I mean, the Broncos, they made the biggest mistake letting Russell Wilson walk, actually they made the biggest mistake in trading Russell Wilson and not really getting anything for him in return. I mean, the Broncos,
Our dog shit.
they went out and
Yes.
got a MILF hunter in Zach Wilson.
Hey,
And
does anybody remember that video game Manhunt? We'll change the title from Manhunt to Cougar Hunt.
Oh my god.
Cougar
And I
Hunt,
mean-
starring Zach Wilson, available for Xbox One, PlayStation
And I
5.
mean-
Rated M for mature.
I'll admit the Broncos, they look decent in their first preseason game. But again,
But as MJF would say,
it's
Joey,
the
who gives a
preseason.
shit?
Joey. Listen.
I mean, then again,
Preseason is
it's-
dog
It's
shit.
the preseason. The preseason
Let
don't
me
really
just
count,
get. This
though.
is why I will never take the preseason seriously. Let me just explain this. 2007, the New England Patriots go 0-4 in the preseason and go 16-0 in the regular season. The Detroit Lions go 4-0 in the preseason and go 0-16 in the season. This is why I will never take the preseason serious.
That's true. And they're really and Denver is really putting the faith of their organization, that trust in the organization, in the hands of a rookie quarterback who is a little inconsistent named Bo Nix. I mean, Bo Nix couldn't find his way past the defenses of the SEC when he was still playing for the University of Auburn. So what makes you think he's gonna shine above these NFL defenders now that he's at the big leagues? It's not gonna happen come year one. So, I mean, that's pretty much my preview right there as far as records go. For the Chiefs, I'm gonna go. I'll say 13-4, at the worst 12-5. For the Chargers, I'm gonna go. I'll say 10-7, at the worst 9-8.
Okay.
For the Raiders, I'm gonna go 9-8.
Oh, here we go.
And for the Broncos, like I said, I'm sorry, Sean Payton. Oh wait, not 5-12.
Ah!
You know what? I'm going to piggyback. I want to backtrack for a second. I got to say, Joey, you have lost your damn mind when it comes about Patrick Mahomes. I understand. Listen, I understand what we're trying to get to with the numbers. Like, yeah, his number has been out, but it's important to read the context to it and, like, watch them, because I watched a game last year against the Detroit Lions where a walk-in touchdown to Kadarius Toney hits him in the hands, and Eric Branch takes it back for a pick six. Jesus Christ, son. 10 of Patrick Mahomes' picks came off of hitting the receiver right in the damn hands. You got Kadarius Toney, who was basically a healthy scratch for the Super Bowl, because Andy Reid said, nope, not against the 49ers. You are not doing this shit. Nope. Stay your ass in street clothes. I don't think Mahomes is taking a step back whatsoever. I think what it is they missed Tyreek Hill more than what they thought they could have. And that's what the big question is. That is why Hollywood Brown was brought in. That is why Rashee Rice is in the second year. That's why Rashee Rice has been brought in his second year. And Xavier Worthy, I got questions about him. I know he's a speedster, but you know what? If you give Patrick Mahomes someone who can run a 4.2 flat in the 40, running deep field, Jesus Christ, son, that's going to open up a whole can of worms for any defense he's playing. So I think Mahomes has not took a step back whatsoever. I think that's the
Hey,
best
I
player
didn't.
in the
I
National
didn't
Football
say
League.
I didn't say he's taking a step back.
You
I
said
said these
numbers.
defenses are probably starting to figure him out.
I don't. That's why I don't agree with because that it hit Kadarius Toney right in the damn hands and it ends up in the Lions defender. I've watched the guy run up and down the field on us in overtime against the best defense in football. Cakewalk, no problem whatsoever. I don't think defenses figured him out. I think defenses have learned to limit his weapons because they suck. Literally, they're like, you know what? How they call it the LeBron James treatment. Oh, we'll let you do what you want. We're just going to shut your scrub players down. We'll let you get to Travis Kelce. We're just going to stop your number one wide receiver because you ain't got one. We're going to guard the outside. We'll give you Travis Kelce all day. We're just going to stop everybody else. And that's what they've seemed to figure out. But Hollywood Brown, if when healthy, I think that's going to be a big time piece for this team. Him and Xavier Worthy, I think this is, oh my God, I think this is going to be a problem. I got the Chiefs winning 12 games because, like you said, the question, I think they can go 13-4. I think they go 12-5 though because of the questions. I think Mahomes still has another 40 touchdowns, 7-8 interception year, 4,500 yards passing. I believe he's still going to be top notch. I think the Chiefs are still going to be the best team in the conference. And here is where I'm at, and people are going to be shocked. I think.
Oh dang, speechless.
I think this is where people's going to be shocked. I think the Raiders will finish second, and I think they win 10 games this year.
Okay.
The reason why, I understand the question about quarterbacks, but I got to say, man, that Antonio Pierce has done one hell of a job since he took over.
Yes, he
And
has.
finally,
Right.
Mark Davis has finally done the right thing instead of letting Castellano walk that year when they probably should have hired him as a full-time head coach. He finally did the right thing by keeping Antonio Pierce, because there's one thing that happened when Antonio Pierce took over. This team got good. Like, players wanted to play for the guy. Devontae Adams had a whole new sense of energy playing. He loved the guy. Like, the Max Crosby basically went out and said, "Hey, Mark Davis, if you don't hire Antonio Pierce full time, I demand a trade. I want out of here. I want this guy. He's our leader." And you know, the best trait a head coach can have is being a leader of men, and that is what Antonio Pierce is. He is a leader of men. He's got these guys playing with a motivation. Don't forget, they went out and blanked the Chiefs on Christmas Day too with Antonio Davis or Antonio Pierce. This guy's got this team rolling. And yes, they lost Josh Jacobs, which is a huge blow, but their defense since Antonio Pierce took over, number one in the NFL last year over the last 7 games. And you know what they just also did? Acquired all-pro defensive tackle Christian Wilkins in the offseason. So
That's
Christian
right.
Wilkins,
They
Zach
did.
Crosby,
Yeah.
like that. The secondary, they look tough, man. I think they will win 10 games. They're going to play hard-nosed, smash-mouth football. Antonio Pierce has got that gridiron, gutty, kind of like Kevin Stefanski. Reminds me a lot of the Cleveland coach. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to play physical, up your face, and down your alley football, and that's what's going to win them 10 games. The Chargers, I think, finished third, and this is a tricky one because the Chargers got rid of a lot of pieces this offseason. Austin Eckler gone. Quentin Johnston ain't nowhere near what they thought he was coming out of TCU at wide receiver last year. He was basically a complete bust. Keenan Allen gone. Mike Williams gone. I mean, Justin Herbert has got no weapons to play with. Defense is Khalil Mack can't stay healthy. Joey Bosa can't stay healthy. It's horrible for them. But the one reason I say is a question, Jim Harbaugh, I know him real well. Came to San Francisco, made Alex Smith a whole new man. Came to San Francisco, made Colin Kaepernick actually look like he was worth a fuck until he left. When he left, shit went to hell. I know him from San Francisco. And let me tell you, when I say he's an offensive genius, this guy's an offensive guru. He is a quarterback guru, and I think with the right weapons, maybe not this year, but he can definitely have Justin Herbert playing top-notch ball because that's what Jim Harbaugh does. He comes in and gets quarterbacks looking good. He got J.J. McCarthy, who was formerly going to be a 4th-round projected pick, got him drafted in the top 15 of the draft. That's just what Jim Harbaugh does. He helps offenses. The problem is they ain't going to have a defense to stop no other team's offense. So with that being said, I think they're going to bite the bullet this year and go 7-10. They don't got nobody to throw the ball to, man. Josh Palmer is your number 1 receiver. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody running the football. I just don't know. So I'm going to say 7-10, but I will say next year, depending on the moves, I expect the Chargers to be well over 500. And that's on down the road, but I expect that next year, them to be over 500 by a mile if they can get some receivers. Now, dead last, we know what this has come to. The Great Value brand donkeys of Walmart in Denver, Colorado. Yes. Oh my God, that's a shit show. You trade Russell Wilson for a bag of stale barbecue potato chips, and you got no running back because Devontae Williams, after tearing his ACL, literally is not the same player no more. And then your wide receivers, you trade Jerry Jeudy to the Cleveland Browns for a bag of damn salt and vinegar chips, and then Cortland Sutton possibly can get shipped out too. What are we doing, Denver? And then you bring in, yes, we talk about no Knicks. I call him no Knicks because he's not going to have a good career in the NFL. Sorry. But Bo Nix and then Zach Wilson. And let me just tell you how dysfunctional it is right there. Them two ain't even the starting quarterback for that team right now. It came out the other day that Jared Stidham is listed as quarterback 1 on
What the hell?
You're kidding.
He beat out
You
Zach
have
Wilson.
to be kidding me.
That's just how dysfunctional they are.
Oh my God, that is horrible.
Okay, I forget what I said about 5-12. I'm going 3-14. I'm actually going to go with what you said, Joey. I say they go 5-12. The only reason I say that is because the defense is pretty fucking stout. I mean, you got Patrick Surtain. They drafted a corner. I mean, they pretty stout. I give them you know what? I'm gonna say 4-11 or 4-13. I think they go 4-13. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 4 wins. I don't know, man. You got Jared Stidham outbeating Zach Wilson, who's too busy trying to get his teammate's mom's phone number. Yeah. Okay. Trying to get his teammate's mom's phone number, and then Bo Nix, Jesus Christ, he got drafted into a pretty shitty situation. It might be just as shitty as the damn New England Patriots job with Drake May. Someone bless his soul too, because he got put in a shitty situation. And I'm sorry, Bo Nix should have Eli Manning his way to another team and said, "No, fuck it, I'm not playing for you. Trade me now." Do what Eli Manning did to the Chargers and said, "Nope," forced his way to New York. That's what
Exactly.
Bo Nix should have done. But yeah, I think they're going to come in last.
Oh man, I'm in agreement with Kevin on his picks. I got the Chiefs going at best 13-4, at worst 12-5. I got the Raiders going 10-7, at worst 9-8. Chargers, I had them going 9-8 at best, 10-7, at worst 8-9. And then the Denver Brokeback Walmart Donkeys Broncos, I have them going 3-14.
I mean, think. This was the same Denver Broncos team that lost 70-20 to the Dolphins last year.
I will never let that down. I was in Louisville, Kentucky at the Light of the Life Festival, and my good buddy Bo Morris called me. He said, "Hey, man, did you hear about the score?" Because he knew I was at the festival, and I said, "No." He said, 70-20. I said, "Wait, are you fucking serious?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Who? 70-20 who?" He said, "Miami over Denver." I said, "Bo, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit." He said, "Nah, man." Said it was real. was like, what? 70-20?
I will say this. Someone needs to check this NFL scheduling because something tells me there's a New England Patriots versus Denver Broncos Thursday night game looming. And
Stop! Stop! Stop!
Someone better check the Thursday night schedule.
Wait. Oh God. Oh
I'm gonna
God.
have a stroke. Oh my God.
Wait a minute. Is this? Please don't tell me. Is this on my birthday? Damn it! Please.
I don't know. I'm not even sure if it really exists. I just know how the NFL is.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Thursday night.
Hold on. Let me check.
I'm checking it too.
I wouldn't even show my worst enemy that game on Thursday night because that is pure torture. That is cruel and unusual punishment to watch them two teams battle it out.
Okay, thankfully we will not see a Patriots Broncos game this year.
Oh,
That's
thank
great.
God in heaven. Yes.
No, we might see a Panthers and Broncos game this year. There we go.
Oh, even worse. Oh God.
Oh my Jesus! Holy
dear God.
macro.
Oh.
It'll be just like the Broncos on the Colts back in 2022.
AKA the worst football game ever. Jesus. There should be automatic refunds for that game. Seriously.
People's subscription on TV should be paid for through 2 years for that shit.
Oh dear God, that was horrible.
Oh my gosh,
we gave me 2 years free.
We actually do have a Panthers Broncos game this year.
Holy fuck! It's gonna be flexed to Thursday night. I feel it already.
Now it's gonna be on a Sunday afternoon, 4:25.
Oh my God! Well, there's one game that won't be on my TV.
Hey, if you're the poor soul that paid for the NFL Sunday ticket, you're getting, and that's the only game you want to watch, and you're pathetic. I'm sorry.
You're getting fucked with no lube, basically. Is that the game you're watching? What are we doing? What Panther fan? Okay. But
anyways, let's talk about something that's awesome. The gold medal is in the U.S. for both the men's and the women basketball teams.
Oh, yes. My God.
Congratulations to the men's basketball team winning their 5th consecutive gold medal in the Olympic Games. And congratulations to the women for winning their 8th consecutive gold medal. Yep, unbelievable.
Yes, Diana Taurasi. Much respect to her. She now has 6 gold medals. The most decorated Olympian in history.
Unreal. And Kev, you said it best in our chat on Facebook the other day. Stephen Curry, my Lord.
Oh, that rainbow shot over Wembanyama. My gosh.
That man's bad. It's a bad
ice water in his veins.
And you know what? It is senile that there was once a conversation on X about how Steph Curry ain't clutch and yada, 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 them years ago. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, this looked like the Steph Curry from the 2022 NBA Finals, for crying out loud. Like, cold-blooded 3 after 3 after 3 when they needed it. And you know what? Let me just say something. As someone who, I'm not a LeBron fan, but just to watch this big 3 compete at a high level, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant, it's something basketball fans will never see again. So You need to enjoy that moment as it happened, because that's all we ever gloss over. Is like, man, what if Steph and LeBron joined up? What if LeBron and KD joined up? What if Steph, LeBron, and KD joined up? That's their own version of the D Wade, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James from 2008. Like, it's such a dream come true to watch those basketball IQs share the floor at the same time. Like, oh man,
what a way to honor the late great Kobe Bean Bryant. Like, that was unbelievable.
However, I disagree on the Olympic MVP. I'm sorry. LeBron has played fabulous the whole time. Like, he was very consistent. But let's be honest. If Steph Curry didn't have that 37, like Kendrick Perkins says, that 37-piece chicken wing dinner all flat at Serbia, they were up by 20 on USA. They were up by 13 going into the fourth quarter. If it wasn't for Steph Curry, they're not taking home but the bronze medal. if Steph Curry
Yeah.
doesn't pull away from France in that last game, like back to back to back to back threes in the fourth quarter where he just got hot and just went on his own run, if he doesn't do that, France is in the game. USA was only up by 3 with 3 minutes left before Steph went back to back to back with threes. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Steph
see,
Curry should have been the MVP.
and also not to mention how the fact that the U.S. had to outscore Serbia in the semifinal game in the fourth quarter, 32-15, just to even get to the championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. If it wasn't for Steph Curry's 37 and that and going off in the fourth like that, they don't even make the championship game. Then
Nope.
if Steph Curry doesn't perform in that fourth like he did, where his own 4 threes made within a span of 3 minutes, France might would have took over and won. So I mean, we gotta call it like it is. And for all the people,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, crying and bitching about Tatum getting very little minutes, please stop it. Because this was about the old heads. LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Devin Booker. I'm sorry, Tatum's not going to get much playing time there. I'm sorry. There is no world that Jason Tatum is a better basketball player than LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. So he's not going to get those minutes. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on, baby. Okay. There's no world that he's there's no world that he's better. And I'm sorry, but I mean, that's the truth. There's 12 guys. You only play 40 minutes. And people that's just blaming Steve Kerr, please stop it. Because Steve Kerr's coached his ass off. And it's not just Steve Kerr. Let me just remind you that Eric Spoelstra's also on that roster, as well as Ty Lue. They all came to a consensus and a unanimous decision. Yes, Tatum's only going to get this much because we want more guard play. We want Drew in the game. We want Devin Booker. We want D-Book. Just like the press conference said, D-Book was our unsung MVP. He didn't do too much, but at the same time, he played his role. He came in, played great defense, swung the ball, set good screens, got rebounds, got to the bucket. He played his role. Devin Booker was the most unsung hero of that run, and Steve Kerr acknowledged it, him and Drew Holiday. That's why Tatum didn't get many minutes. So people that's complaining, please shut up. I mean, Jesus Christ, because LeBron and Steph, it was about them. They were the guys with the torches running around, making plays. Like it was fun to watch. Let me just tell you, as a Steph fan, watch him and LeBron turn up together. It was an amazing sight to see. Steph hit the 3, hit him with the good night celebration, and you know what? My God, they're gonna kick him out of France. He ain't allowed to come back to France.
You are arrested for trespassing on our gold medal game.
I will also say on that last shot, it reminded me so much of the Oklahoma City shot from 2016 with 2 seconds, damn near half court. Like you think, damn, that's a crazy shot. But then it goes in and you're like, oh yeah, Steph's shooting it. That's a great shot. No, I'm just saying on that play, Kevin Durant and LeBron James both were wide open. And someone on X made a funny meme talking about this is the only human alive that can get away not passing the ball to a wide open Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and it'd be considered a good shot. I said,
yes.
If that was anybody else, like Kendrick Perkins said, if that was anybody else taking that shot and not passing it to LeBron out the double team or Durant, he's getting his citizenship to the United States revoked. He's not allowed to come back to the country.
Right.
Because it was Steph Curry, everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's a good shot. He's going to make that shit.
Now, before you go, Kev, I do want to talk about this. And again, we were talking about this the other day, but back to the NFL, there was a lot of rumors, a lot of reports floating around about Brandon Ayuk. Has he been traded?
I'm sick of it. It's like an old divorce. I'm sick of it. Just get it on. I don't care. Rip the fucking Band-Aid off at this point. I don't care. I mean, Jesus Christ. When you have a good roster, you're fucked either way. We can sign Ayuk, but guess what? We're going to lose 2 all-pro corners, an all-pro safety, a damn defensive tackle, like Jesus Christ, a linebacker. I mean, at this point, I don't even care. Just try to get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off. We got more important duties to worry about than to be fucking dealing with a wide receiver who's the 4th option in our offense. I mean, Trent Williams is holding out. Give the best left tackle in football his money.
That being said, Kev, now the potential trade package that was there, Amari Cooper, to San
That would have
Francisco.
worked. I would have been fine with that.
Exactly. And he's a true number one receiver.
But here's the problem. And everybody acts like, oh, well, Ayuk shouldn't have leverage because he's still on his 5th-year deal. That's correct. However, this is why Ayuk has some leverage. Ayuk, they can confront him and say, we're going to trade you to Cleveland. However, Cleveland's not going to want to trade for a wide receiver just for 1 year. If they want to trade for someone like
That's a good
Ayuk, and they're
point.
giving up so much, they want you to sign an extension. So if Brandon Ayuk is like, I don't want to sign an extension, Cleveland's just going to say, well, it's not worth it. I might lose him anyway, so I'll trade him, but only for like a 5th-round pick, just for like a 1-year rental, since he's not going to sign. But if Ayuk agrees to sign somewhere, then the 49ers can get so much more in return because that other team knows that Ayuk's going to be there for the long term, like 4 or 5 years. So we could have still forced them to go to Cleveland, but we wouldn't have got nothing but like a 5th-round pick at that point. The Amari Cooper was a package that, if Ayuk plans to sign an extension, then we'll give you all that. But if not, I ain't going to give you nothing but a 5th because, hell, he's going to play this year and then leave next year anyway.
And then if you're Cleveland, you're eating it because you don't have a pick involved with it, really.
And the 49ers are looking at it like they apparently they're so close with Ayuk. They're so close on a number, but Pittsburgh's got a trade. Apparently today, Ian Rappaport said that the trade is done for Phil. They said San Francisco likes the deal. The Pittsburgh Steelers like the deal, but the 49ers are still not pulling the trigger as of right now because they want to try to still talk to Ayuk and see if he wants to still negotiate before the last minute happens. But I'm thinking the deal is with a third team. I think there's a third team in this deal. And I think it's Pittsburgh sends a bunch of picks to the 49ers. The 49ers then turns those picks into someone like a Cortland Sutton or a Devontae Adams or someone like that who can actually be a wide receiver on this team. And that's where I think it gets tricky. The 49ers are looking for a third team that's looking to give away a receiver relatively cheap for a 1-year rental to just come and basically band-aid the number 4 receiver option at this point. So it gets real tricky. So I don't know. I'm just, as a 49er fan, reading it on Twitter and watch the fucking drama. It's literally like an episode of fucking Jerry Springer back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Will you take this contract offer? Will you take these trade package offer?
You know, whatever. I mean, like it's crazy.
You know who Brandon Ayuk is starting to sound like right now?
Who?
And all for entertainment purpose, but remember when CM Punk made his own contract with Vince McMahon in WWE back in and he said, I want my own ice cream bars. I want a jet.
Yes.
That's what Brandon Ayuk is sounding like to the 49ers right now. Like, you want some ice cream bars on it? Do you want to be on the cover of the 49ers magazine? Do you want to have your face on the back of the seat?
Yes.
What do you want, dude? Just take the damn money. Would you rather make, like James Jones said on Speak, would you rather make $2 million less and be in a good quarterback situation and a good offense where you know you're going to be productive? Or would you rather have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields who can't hold on to the ball like fucking Butterfinger throwing you the ball and you're only making $2 million more and missing out?
Or go to Cleveland when you're going to bomb because the quarterback primarily is concerned with a massage parlors.
Brock Purdy on his worst day with a broke elbow is better than fucking Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. And you're telling me you'd rather go there?
You would rather go be the number 1 guy or be the 4th option when you could be number 1 and number 2 for a game. Then that means, like we've said time and time again on this show last week, when these rumors were swirling around, if you're the number 4 option, that means that you're that fucking good. Because at any given point, you could be the first option because the team's that good.
Here's the problem. Here's also the problem. If you're the 4th option on a team, teams are not game planning for you, so you're going to have wide open
exactly.
looks. If you go to Pittsburgh, you know what they're going to do. Not only do you not have a quarterback to throw you the ball, teams are going to double team you. They're going to scheme for you. They're going to put corners like Patrick Surtain and damn Sauce Gardner on you. You're going to get the other team's best corner, and you're going to get doubled. You're going to get tripled. You're going to get punished. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is the part that confuses me, and then I'll get off here. But Brandon Ayuk, what do you want, dude? Because the Patriots if it's money, why didn't you go to New England or Cleveland? They offered you $32, $33 million a year. Okay, so it ain't money. Then why don't you take a discount and stay in home in San Francisco where you can literally be wide open every play because teams are more worried about Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle than they are you.
And
So
Debo. You're
what
the
is it?
fourth.
Pittsburgh is neither. Pittsburgh's only offering you 28, and Pittsburgh don't have a quarterback. They don't have an offense. Jesus Christ, they suck. Their offense was horrible.
And we
Their
all know
defense
New
was
England's
horrible.
going to be in rebuilding mode this year because of
You
Drake
remember-
May being the rookie quarterback.
Have y'all seen that Lamborghini meme on Facebook where the Lamborghini sitting out of a dumpy trailer?
Oh, God.
That's the
Yes.
Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense sitting beside the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Great ass defense, sucky ass offense. So what is it, Ayuk? What do you want? It ain't money because you would have went to New England and Cleveland. It ain't winning because Pittsburgh ain't gonna win like San Francisco. And
It ain't
so
New
what is
England, and it
What
sure
do
as
you
hell ain't
want?
Cleveland. What do you want? You were a
Ayuk?
game away from the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
You were
And
up by 3 in overtime. What do you want, Ayuk? I mean, come on, dude.
I mean,
Because let's
seriously,
be
and-
honest, guys, if they would have won the Super Bowl this past season, he wouldn't be bitching about the money.
Oh no. Heck,
No, I think at that point they would have, and honestly, to the 49ers' expense, just like the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, it would have been easier for the 49ers to move on from Brandon Ayuk. Because then, if you win a Super Bowl, there's no expectations for the next year. Like when the Chiefs won and they got rid of Tyreek, you know what it was? It's like, oh, well, we won. We're going to let him get his money elsewhere. I mean, that's just what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, and nobody
Yeah.
would have batted an eye, but because they're so close, the pressure's on the 49ers, like, let's run it back. We're going to win. Let's run it back. Run it back healthy. Ayuk needs to be here, and then Ayuk's over there. I don't know what he wants. He don't want money because he turned down New England or Cleveland. He don't want to win because Pittsburgh's not winning over San Francisco. And
I
that
think he's
division-
confused,
that-
guys. I really think he is confused. Like,
it's exactly. And see, and there's one thing
Their
that's
damn mind.
And see, and there's one thing that's really confusing me real quick, Kevin, before you go. Yes, I know the 49ers offense is surrounded by Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, and George Kittle. But if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Ayuk Brock Purdy's number one target last year?
He was, but you got to think of why he was, though. When teams come into the week on Monday to watch film, they're watching Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey. They know the 49ers are a run-first West Coast Bill Walsh type team that's going to try to pound the rock. They're trying to stop that first. Imagine if Ayuk's playing for someone who likes to do nothing but chunk up passes in Pittsburgh. Teams are going to double him. They're going to – I mean, it's a lot of shit that goes on behind that, man. I just think we are better off with Ayuk. I will say that. But just like they said,
I agree.
do I think the
agree.
49ers are still favorites in the NFC without Ayuk? Yes, it just makes the margin a little smaller. But I still think they are favored because let's be honest, 2019, Kyle Shanahan took the 49ers to the Super Bowl with Emmanuel Sanders as a number one receiver, a guy that was 36
That's
years old,
true.
a rookie Debo Samuel, George Kittle, and Raheem Mostert. And I'm not shitting on Raheem Mostert, but Mostert is not Christian McCaffrey.
No.
And I'm sorry, but
No.
and Kyle
No.
Shanahan took that team to the Super Bowl. I think they'll be fine without Brandon Ayuk. Might take a little hit. Instead of averaging 38 points per game, they might average 35 points per game for crying out loud.
That's
But
true.
still, 35
That's
points
true,
per game in the
'cause-
NFL offense is pretty fucking good.
That's true.
So-
And you know Christian McCaffrey's going to find his way to get his yards and his touchdowns. He's going to find a
Oh,
way.
yeah. Oh, definitely.
It's interesting because when you look at Brandon Ayuk's situation, like if I'm him, stay with the team because you were this close to a Super Bowl.
I mean,
Because-
let's just be honest. Just like, and you know what? This is one thing I will say before I get off. Colin Coward said it best, dude. He said, listen, and I don't like Colin Coward or Nick Wright, period. They're idiots.
No.
But Colin Coward actually hit it on the head and say, listen, Brandon, you could be like Tyreek Hill. Go get your money. The only problem is, guess what? Just like Tyreek Hill, you're going to be irrelevant come January because Miami chokes. Then Tyreek sitting there watching the Super Bowl from his mansion and watching the playoffs from his mansion. That's all Ayuk's going to do if he leaves the 49ers. You're going to go somewhere like Pittsburgh. You'll be watching them on the camera. You'll be watching them on the TV like the Dallas Cowboys do every year. You're going to just sit there, but you're going to be irrelevant again.
Yep.
So do a Tyreek Hill, and you're going to be irrelevant. Do a Devontae Adams when he got away from Aaron Rodgers. You're going to be irrelevant because of the teams you're on. You chose the money, and you chose where you wanted to go instead of what's best for you come January and February. So,
Yep.
Exactly.
Tyreek Hill did shit in January because the team sucks. Miami chokes. Miami chokes like Miami's the AFC Dallas Cowboys, for crying out loud. Play
That's
good
right.
season, then they go and get a little cold in the playoffs and choke in the first round.
Literally cold in the playoffs.
That's what happens.
Literally.
Devontae Adams is going through it in Vegas the last 2 years. It's just
Yeah, because Devontae Adams is going, man, I'm an idiot for signing that contract with the Vegas.
exactly. So you're in a system that allows you to run deep, wide open. Nobody touches you because everybody's more worried about the play action and where Christian McCaffrey is. Stay there because your production's gonna go up. I mean,
Go elsewhere? Nah. Next.
yep. Well, I'm gonna hop off here, guys. Get ready for bed.
All right, man. We will see you next week, man, as we go
Yes,
to
sir.
the
Be ready to be
NFC
talking
North.
about the NFC.
Yeah, the
All right,
NFC
Kevin.
North and
Oh.
South.
Hey, don't forget our fantasy drafts Thursday night. You gonna be on?
Yep, I'll be on. I got
All
a
right.
couple things to
All
do
right, sounds
Thursday
good,
morning,
man.
but
See
I
you
should
on
be there.
Thursday.
All right. Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
You
Peace
too,
out,
brother.
bro.
And with that being said, Joey, I think you have Ezra's predictions.
I do. Give me just a second to pull it up here. I'm going to keep it, of course, short and sweet. Let's see. Ezra for the AFC East, he has the Dolphins winning the division, going 11-6. He's got the Bills going 10-7. He's got the Patriots going 8-9, and the Jets 6-11.
Wow.
Wow.
Very
That's crazy.
interesting.
And the AFC West, he's got the Chiefs going 13-4, Chargers 10-7, Raiders 9-8, Broncos 7-10.
Wow.
Yeah, see, and Kevin also sent a meme to the chat saying, "Imagine trying to get excited for football season, but Daniel Jones is your quarterback."
Oh, we'll get to that division in a couple of weeks. Oh, man, but, man, this show flew by, man. Woo!
Yes, but there's still one last major thing we need to talk about, and that is, of course, the news that dropped earlier today about Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because as the news came down, J.J. McCarthy is done with a torn meniscus.
Well, I'm actually gonna dig a little deeper into that because as of right now, they don't know how bad his meniscus is torn. I mean, if it's just a little trim, then he'll be back at some point in the season. But of course, if it is a complete tear, then yeah, he's going to be done for the year. We won't see him until 2025. But he is going to have his surgery later on this week, and the doctors will be able to tell how bad of a tear it is. So he's not done for the season yet. But like I said, if it is a complete tear, he will indeed be done for the season.
Yeah, and if you're the Vikings, like you were hopeful that he was going to be, there, to compete, to give this team a chance after obviously losing Kirk Cousins in the offseason to the Falcons. And hopefully for him and for Vikings fans that it is not a complete tear of the meniscus and he'll be able to return. But if you're Minnesota, if he's going to be out for about 7 to 8, possibly 10 weeks, and make a recovery, you got to do something. You got to make moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, not good. Not good for Minnesota. It sucks.
But I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything on your Braves?
Well, like I said on my intro, they're dead. They're washed up. I hope they miss the playoffs, and I hope Snicker gets his butt fired. That's it.
I think that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, but I
But
guess but I guess we'll go ahead and go to our final thoughts, and I'll go ahead and kick it off here. Awesome show with you tonight, Steven, and I'm glad Kevin was able to hop on for about 30 to 45 minutes. Hate that Ezra couldn't join us tonight, but he did give his predictions. And overall, it was a pretty great show. I mean, we got a lot covered. We gave our thoughts on the AFC East and the AFC West, and that'll conclude our conference previews for the AFC. But next week, we start our conference previews for the NFC, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to start with the NFC North and the NFC South. Is that correct?
You got it. We're going north, south, east, and west. Yep.
All right. So, yeah, it'll be the NFC North and the NFC South next week. So be sure to tune in as we go over our NFC North and NFC South previews. But until then, peace out. Enjoy the sports. Enjoy the football that's going to be coming on week 2 of the NFL preseason. And yes, I know it's preseason, but at the same time, it's still football. So go enjoy it. And that'll pretty much do it for me. Steven, you know how to wrap this up, brother, so go do it.
Yes, I do. Great show with you and great show with Kevin hopping on with us tonight, talking about the AFC East and West and talking about the news, the rumors floating around with Brandon Ayuk. And again, congratulations to the men's and the women's basketball teams winning gold medal at the Paris Olympics. And if you don't know by now that Los Angeles will be hosting the Olympic Games in 2028. And very cool that the City of Angels will be hosting that in 4 years. And man, so excited. Lots going on, with the football season coming around, and it'll be here before you know it. So excited for that. Next week, we continue our NFL division previews with the NFC North and the NFC South. And then, of course, on August 27th, that'll be the final episode of August, talking about the NFC East and West. And man, oh man, it's hard to believe that the regular season is just around the corner. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great with the Ravens and the Chiefs opening up the 2024 campaign. And that'll be awesome. And again, thank you to everybody who joined us here tonight on the live feed. And for those that tune in, real quick, go ahead.
Also, not to mention real quick, I know this is something that we didn't talk about, but here's something else that's worth mentioning. To kick off the NBA Cup, the NBA regular season cup that they do in the regular season, we're going to see the return of Klay Thompson as his Dallas Mavericks go to Golden State to take on the Warriors.
Wow. All right.
So yeah, I wanted to throw that in there real quick.
That'll be something to watch because Klay Thompson will be making his first appearance on the opposing side of a basketball team against Golden State. All those great years that Klay had with the Warriors winning those 4 championships. And we'll obviously get into the NBA discussion as the season approaches when it gets to October. But yeah, like we said at the beginning of the month, we're football heavy, basically from here on out because the football year is around, the corner, and it's going to be great. And going to try to get Lance Meadow back on the show with us because Lance is a great guy. Lance knows his sports. He knows the NFL. He knows the NBA and all of that, and looking forward to getting into the NFC side of things next week as we start with the North and South. And the next week is the East and the West. And with that being said, what a great show with Joey tonight and Kevin tonight. And Randy, thank you for joining in the chat. And for those who tune in tonight, thank you very much. And for those that tune in on demand, thank you very much for watching us tonight. Again, Ezra, unfortunately, due to being under the weather, could not be here tonight. But looking forward to him being back on the show next week and giving his concert report from Metallica's 2 epic shows at Soldier Field in the Windy City in Chicago, Illinois for the M72 World Tour that took place on August the 9th and the 11th. And again, if this Metallica tour is coming near you, check it out. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And Also, real quick, on a music-related note, I want to give a shout out to a band that I've been loving since I discovered these guys. I discovered a band called Mojo Thunder last year when I was at a Winery Dog show in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was outside before the doors opened and we went inside. Me and some people were talking about bands that we loved, and this lady and I were talking about our love of Rival Sons and how they're one of our favorite bands. And then I was like, well, what have you been listening to? And she said, well, I've been checking out a couple of bands that you might like. The Dirty Streets, they're from Memphis. I said, okay, I'll check them out. And then she also said Mojo Thunder. I was like, okay. And the name intrigued me. So I've been loving those guys for the past year. Really cool hard rock, southern rock, blues band out of Lexington, Kentucky. They have a brand new album coming out this Friday on August the 16th called The Infinite Hope. And a couple of singles are already out for the record. Holy Ghost, Step by Step, and Let It Roll. And the full album drops, like I said, this Friday. So if you are a classic rock, hard rock, blues rock kind of aficionado, this band is right up your alley with good vocals, top-notch, guitar playing, great rhythm section, great band, great young band, really cool band. Again, the new album, The Infinite Hope, comes out this Friday on August the 16th. And check out that if you're interested in that. Like I said, a couple of singles are already out for the record. Full album drops this Friday. And again, folks, follow us on Twitter or X at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are live on YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. And also don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook at Nation's Corner, and on YouTube where they are live on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific time at youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. Be sure to join the guys and the gal as they recap all things professional wrestling. And as we all know, AEW All In is just around the corner. That will be taking place next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend on the 25th in Wembley Stadium in London, England. Card is pretty interesting so far. Obviously, WWE's hot and heavy right now. Roman Reigns is back on SmackDown as of last week. Raw last night was really good, including a 2 out of 3 falls match between Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, which was awesome. Braun Breaker retained his Intercontinental Championship. And just loving what they're doing, loving what Rhea and Liv are doing, loving this babyface run with Damian Priest. It's really cool. And of course, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre beating the piss out of each other. Sounds like a good night for wrestling for me. RSSLIN, that's wrestling. Watching wrestling. RSSLIN, that's wrestling. Going to wrestling. And speaking of going, we're out of here. That's a wrap on us. And again, thank you for Kevin and for Joey joining me tonight. For Ezra, I hope you're feeling better there, buddy. And to Randy, thank you for joining us in the chat. And again, for those that are watching this on demand, thank you very much. And we are excited for football to be back and looking forward to the regular season starting up on September the 5th. But as we all know, it's not here yet. Damn it. Wish it was. But next week, we get into the NFC North and the NFC South divisions. And with that being said, that's a wrap. I have been your host for this season, Stephen Wyand. So with that being said, for Ezra Vickery, for Randy Gyron, William Gyron, K-Rock, Kevin Rory, JT, Joey Thornton, and everybody out there in sports land, I've been your host for this evening, Stephen Wyand. Thank you for tuning in to another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Check us out next week as we dive into the NFC side of the divisional previews. The NFC North and South next week. Then the next week on the 27th, it is the NFC East and the NFC West, concluding our division previews for the month of August. For 2024, take care of one another. Be good to each other. Enjoy the wrestling. Enjoy the sports. Enjoy each other's company. Make memories. Be good to yourselves. Be good to your family and your friends. Be appreciative of the people that are still around to enjoy your time with and make memories that will last a lifetime. And with that being said, this has been another edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Turn me up.